Lily Anderson was known around the University of Austin for her intelligence and bright demeanor. At 19, she was already making a name for herself in her psychology program, having excelled in her studies throughout high school. Her modest background and unwavering determination had shaped her into a resilient and independent young woman. Lily's mother worked tirelessly as a public school teacher, while her father, Robert Anderson, was a retired Army veteran who had lost his leg in combat. The university, however, was a world that Lily found challenging for reasons beyond academics. She often crossed paths with two of the wealthiest students, Jason and Ryan. Both were 20 years old, pampered by their affluent families, and accustomed to having their every whim catered to. They were used to getting their way and looked down on anyone who didn't fit their image of success. From the moment Lily arrived on campus, Jason and Ryan took an instant dislike to her. They viewed her modest clothes and simple lifestyle as evidence of her inferiority. It wasn't long before their disdain turned into active bullying. Their tactics were subtle at first: snide remarks in passing, whispered comments to their friends, and an occasional mocking glance. But as time went on, their behavior grew more aggressive. Lily, however, never let their taunts get to her. She maintained her composure and continued to focus on her studies. Her calm responses to their provocations only seemed to frustrate Jason and Ryan more. They found it difficult to break her spirit, which only made them more determined to find a way to undermine her. One chilly October afternoon, as Lily was heading to the library, she overheard Jason and Ryan talking excitedly. They were planning something, and Lily's name kept coming up. Curiosity piqued. She tried to listen in, but their voices were too low. Despite her suspicion that they were plotting something, Lily decided to keep her guard up and not let it distract her from her goals. Later that week, as Lily walked across the campus lawn, Jason approached her with a friendly smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Hey Lily, how's it going?" he asked, his tone dripping with false sincerity. "Hi Jason," Lily replied cautiously. "I'm doing well, thanks." Jason continued, "You know, we're throwing a big party this weekend. It's going to be a great time with lots of music and dancing. We'd love for you to come." Lily raised an eyebrow, sensing something off about the invitation. "That sounds interesting," she said slowly, "but I have a lot of studying to do." Ryan, who had joined them, chimed in, "Oh, come on. It'll be fun. It's going to be an exclusive event, just for a few of us from the top families. You should come. It'll be a good break from all the studying." Lily's suspicion deepened, but she didn't want to appear scared or uninterested. She decided to accept the invitation, figuring that it might be a chance to confront whatever scheme they had in mind. "All right," she said. "I'll come." Jason's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Great. We're looking forward to seeing you there." As the party approached, Lily couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. She knew that Jason and Ryan's invitation was likely a setup to embarrass her. Nevertheless, she resolved to attend, determined to show that she wouldn't be intimidated. In the days leading up to the party, Jason and Ryan's behavior towards Lily became more conspicuous. They made frequent comments about how she might not fit in with the crowd and laughed about how out of place she would look. It was clear to everyone around them that they were trying to build up anticipation for what they saw as Lily's inevitable humiliation. Lily spent the days leading up to the event preparing herself. She continued her studies diligently, focusing on her exams and assignments. Her friends noticed that she seemed unusually calm and collected, even as the party loomed closer. They expressed concern but were reassured by her confident demeanor. As the night of the party arrived, Lily dressed carefully in a stunning, elegant gown she had chosen. Her outfit was a stark contrast to the simple attire she usually wore. She had borrowed the gown from a friend and arranged for her father's luxury SUV to drop her off. Robert Anderson had insisted on driving her himself, eager to support her and make sure she felt safe. When Lily arrived at the venue, she stepped out of the SUV with grace and poise. The grand house where the party was being held was buzzing with energy, filled with students from the wealthiest families in Austin. The sound of laughter and music spilled out into the street as Lily made her way towards the entrance. Jason and Ryan stood near the entrance, waiting for Lily to arrive. They had planned to take videos of her looking out of place and share them among their friends. They were eager to see her reaction and were confident that their plan would be a success. But as Lily approached, the two men's expressions shifted from smug anticipation to stunned disbelief. They watched as Lily walked confidently towards the party, her appearance a stark contrast to their expectations. The stage was set for what promised to be a dramatic turn of events. Lily had no idea how the night would unfold, but she was determined to face whatever came her way with her head held high. The party was about to reveal far more than Jason and Ryan had anticipated, and Lily was ready to meet the challenge head-on. As Lily Anderson approached the grand entrance of the mansion, the buzz of the party grew louder. The house was lit up with strings of fairy lights, and the sounds of laughter and lively music spilled out into the night air. The decorations were opulent, and the guests, dressed in their finest, appeared to be enjoying themselves immensely. Jason and Ryan, positioned strategically near the entrance, watched eagerly as Lily approached. They had been waiting for this moment, anticipating the discomfort and embarrassment they were sure she would feel. However, their smirks began to fade as Lily's confident stride and graceful demeanor stood in stark contrast to their expectations. "Here she comes," Jason said quietly to Ryan, trying to mask his growing nervousness. "This is going to be great." Ryan nodded, but his eyes were glued to Lily. "Let's see if she can handle it." Lily, wearing a sleek, navy blue evening gown that sparkled subtly under the lights, made her way up the steps with poise. Her father, Robert Anderson, had dropped her off just moments before, and the luxury SUV had attracted some curious glances from other partygoers. Robert had left with a warm hug and a few encouraging words, knowing that Lily was ready to face whatever awaited her. The two bullies watched as Lily reached the top of the steps and gave a polite nod to the doorman. Her appearance was nothing short of stunning. The dress, though borrowed, fit her perfectly and highlighted her grace and elegance. As she entered the mansion, the murmurs of curiosity and admiration followed her. Inside, the party was in full swing. Students from Austin's wealthiest families mingled and chatted, their conversations punctuated by laughter and the clinking of glasses. Lily moved through the crowd with a composed and confident air, her presence drawing more than a few curious glances. Jason and Ryan, who had been anticipating Lily's discomfort, were caught off guard by her ease and self-assurance. They exchanged worried glances as they watched her from a distance. It was clear that their plan to embarrass her was not going as expected. As Lily mingled with the other guests, she quickly became the center of attention. Her demeanor and the sophistication of her dress impressed many. When the guests learned about her background, their initial curiosity turned into genuine admiration. The revelation came about as Lily, in a conversation with a group of students, casually mentioned her father's name. "Your dad is Robert Anderson?" one of the guests exclaimed, their eyes widening. "The Robert Anderson who owns the chain of luxury car dealerships?" Lily nodded, smiling warmly. "Yes, that's him." The guests were astounded. They had been led to believe that Lily was from a struggling background, a misconception fueled by Jason and Ryan's taunts. The truth about her father's success and their family's stability was a complete surprise. The admiration for Lily grew, and the whispers of her impressive background spread through the crowd. Meanwhile, Jason and Ryan, observing the scene unfold, were growing increasingly uncomfortable. The very thing they had hoped for, Lily's humiliation, was turning into an unexpected triumph. Their faces betrayed their dismay as they watched the other students shower Lily with praise and interest. In a desperate attempt to salvage their plan, Jason whispered to Ryan, "We need to do something. This isn't working." Ryan nodded, his frustration evident. "Let's try to get a few more videos. Maybe we can still make something out of this." They attempted to discreetly record Lily, but their efforts were thwarted by the growing crowd around her. Every attempt to make her the center of ridicule was met with resistance from the other students, who were now keenly aware of Jason and Ryan's motives. Lily, completely unaware of the scheming behind the scenes, continued to enjoy the party. Her interactions were filled with genuine warmth, and she was genuinely enjoying the evening. The attention she received was positive, and the more she mingled, the more the other students seemed to respect and appreciate her. As the night went on, Jason and Ryan's frustration reached its peak. Their plan had backfired spectacularly. Instead of witnessing Lily's discomfort, they were witnessing her success and acceptance. The respect and admiration she garnered were in sharp contrast to the embarrassment they had hoped to see. The turning point was clear. Lily had not only survived the party but had thrived in it. Her resilience and grace had won over the crowd, while Jason and Ryan's scheme had unraveled. The evening, which was meant to be a showcase of Lily's supposed inferiority, had instead highlighted her strength and the true nature of her character. As the party continued, Jason and Ryan retreated to the sidelines, their faces filled with a mix of disbelief and resentment. They had underestimated Lily's ability to rise above their schemes, and the results were evident in the way the night was unfolding. The evening was far from over, and the tension between the bullies and their target was far from resolved. As the evening progressed, the atmosphere at the party continued to buzz with excitement. Lily Anderson was at the center of it all, effortlessly engaging with her peers and enjoying herself. The initial discomfort that Jason and Ryan had hoped to cause her had evaporated, replaced by a genuine sense of admiration from the other students. The contrast between Lily's grace and the haughty behavior of Jason and Ryan became increasingly evident. Lily, oblivious to the schemes brewing around her, was savoring every moment. The guests, now fully aware of her father's success and her own composure, had welcomed her into their circles. Her conversations were filled with laughter and mutual respect, and she was beginning to feel that the evening was turning into one of the most enjoyable nights she had experienced in a long time. Meanwhile, Jason and Ryan were growing more desperate by the minute. Their earlier attempts to capture embarrassing footage of Lily had failed miserably, and the growing admiration for her only added to their frustration. They were now huddled in a corner, discussing their next move in hushed tones. "This is a disaster," Jason said, frustration clear in his voice. "We were supposed to make her look foolish, but instead, she's the star of the party." Ryan sighed, his eyes scanning the room. "I don't know what else to do. We've tried everything, and nothing's working." Jason's face darkened with determination. "There's one last thing we can try. If we can't make her look bad, maybe we can use this opportunity to bring attention to ourselves. Let's make sure everyone knows what we tried to do." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "How do you propose we do that?" "We'll tell everyone about our plan," Jason suggested. "We'll say that we invited her to embarrass her and that it was all part of a joke. We'll make ourselves the victims of our own scheme." Ryan hesitated. "You think people will believe us?" "It's worth a shot," Jason replied. "If we can't win, at least we can turn the tables and shift the focus off of her." They moved through the crowd, subtly spreading the story of their failed plan. They exaggerated their own role in the scheme, portraying themselves as the innocent masterminds who had been cruelly outsmarted by Lily's surprising success. The guests listened with a mix of curiosity and skepticism, but the attempt to shift the narrative only served to highlight Jason and Ryan's desperation. As they circulated their story, the mood among the other students shifted. Many were already impressed by Lily's poise and resilience, and their sympathy began to lean further towards her. The more Jason and Ryan tried to undermine Lily, the more the crowd rallied around her. In the midst of the commotion, Robert Anderson, Lily's father, arrived back at the party. He had initially left to handle some urgent business but returned upon hearing about the unusual dynamics of the evening. His entrance was met with respect and admiration from the guests, many of whom were now eager to hear more about the successful businessman who was Lily's father. Robert joined Lily and the other students, and the conversation quickly turned to his remarkable journey. He spoke candidly about his struggles and triumphs, his resilience in overcoming personal hardships, and the values he had instilled in Lily. His story resonated with many, adding to Lily's standing as an inspiring figure. Jason and Ryan, now sidelined, watched in growing resentment. Their attempts to sabotage Lily had not only failed but had inadvertently elevated her status. The crowd's growing admiration for her father and her own handling of the situation underscored their defeat. The party continued with renewed energy, And as the night wore on, the initial plan to embarrass Lily seemed like a distant memory. The focus had shifted from any potential humiliation to celebrating the success and integrity of Lily and her family. The evening ended with Jason and Ryan feeling isolated and humbled. Their plan had backfired spectacularly, and their efforts to shift the blame only served to amplify Lily's triumph. As the party wrapped up and the guests began to leave, it was clear that the night had been a significant turning point for all involved. The respect and admiration for Lily were palpable, while Jason and Ryan were left to reflect on the consequences of their actions. As the party wound down, the once lively atmosphere was now tinged with an air of unease for Jason and Ryan. They had watched helplessly as their plan to humiliate Lily Anderson unraveled, and the event that was meant to be their moment of triumph had become a showcase of Lily's grace and her father's success. Lily, radiant in her evening gown, had mingled effortlessly with the guests. Her father, Robert Anderson, had been the center of admiration, sharing his story of perseverance and success. The respect for Lily and her family had only grown as the night progressed, overshadowing the earlier attempts to undermine her. As the final guests departed, Jason and Ryan found themselves alone in a corner of the venue, their faces flushed with embarrassment. The success they had hoped to achieve through their scheme had turned into a lesson in humility. "I can't believe this," Ryan muttered, his frustration evident. "We tried everything and it all backfired. We're the ones who ended up looking foolish." Jason, who had been seething with anger, finally looked around and saw the situation for what it was. "We wanted to show her up, but all we did was make ourselves look bad. I thought we had it all figured out, but we didn't account for how strong and resilient she really is." Their conversation was interrupted when Lily approached them, her demeanor calm and composed. She had noticed their isolation and, understanding the weight of the evening's events, decided it was time to address the situation directly. "Jason, Ryan," Lily began, her voice steady, "I want to thank you for inviting me to the party. It wasn't what I expected, but it turned out to be a memorable evening. I hope you both understand that no matter our backgrounds, we all deserve respect and kindness." Jason, taken aback by her words, stammered, We didn't mean for things to turn out like this. We thought we could make you look bad, but it didn't go as planned." Lily smiled gently. "I understand. Sometimes, when people are threatened by others, they act out of fear or insecurity. I hope you both can take this as a lesson about treating others with respect and understanding." Ryan shifted uncomfortably, his gaze dropping to the floor. "We're sorry, Lily. We were wrong to try and make you feel inferior. It was a stupid plan, and we didn't think it through." Lily's kindness in the face of their apologies struck a chord with both men. The genuine nature of her words, combined with the respect she had earned from everyone else, made them reflect on their actions. As the night drew to a close, Jason and Ryan made their way to Lily's father, Robert, to offer their apologies in person. Robert, who had witnessed the entire debacle, was gracious in accepting their apologies. "Thank you for your honesty," Robert said, his tone sincere. "We all make mistakes, but what matters is how we learn and grow from them. I appreciate your willingness to own up to what happened." Jason and Ryan left the party feeling humbled. They had entered with the intent to belittle and embarrass Lily, but had instead been given a powerful lesson in humility and character. The experience had forced them to confront their own shortcomings and rethink their approach to others. As the final guests exited and the venue was cleaned up, Lily and her father exchanged a look of satisfaction. The night had been challenging, but it had ultimately reinforced their values and demonstrated the strength found in integrity and respect. The story of that evening spread through the university, becoming a lesson in the importance of character over superficial judgments. Jason and Ryan's apology and their subsequent change in behavior reflected a new understanding of what it truly means to be a respectful and humble person. In the end, Lily's resilience and the support of her family had turned a potential humiliation into a powerful demonstration of true strength. The experience served as a reminder that, regardless of wealth or status, the essence of a person lies in their character and how they treat others.